The Mueller witch hunt is over. There was no Trump collusion with Russia. There will be no more indictments, neither of him, his campaign, or his family. So a lot of people that support Trump are saying this is a great victory. And of course, it is better than the option of Mueller finding or claiming to find Trump collusion with Russia. But I think it's important to point out that, like I have before, that the purpose of this investigation was simply to smear Trump and to produce enough headlines for MSNBC and CNN to run daily, weekly, for 2 years, so that the Democrats would elect a Democrat Congress and you would get Pelosi. And that's what they achieved. They didn't care really if there was any factual basis for all these claims. They didn't really care if he did collude. They just needed the headlines. And they got them. And they got Pelosi's victory. They got the Democrats into Congress. So now they can continue with any other investigation that they want. And interestingly enough, James Comey said exactly the same thing today. He said, well, I don't really care if he's indicted or not. Well, of course not. You already smeared him. That was the purpose. A constant smear and besmirching of Trump's reputation. And now they'll just go to the next claim. And by the way, there's a very important point that most people are missing. Almost everyone wants to make this report public. And I totally disagree. When a prosecutor tries to prosecute someone, they interrogate witnesses and they don't find enough evidence to indict, they simply have to come to the public and say, no indictment. They don't get a chance to smear the accused person who they've already ruined. That's right. They've ruined him simply by the allegation that he was guilty. They don't have that right. And for a very good reason. Because the report is totally partisan. It's all one-sided. There's no defense. There was no opportunity for the opposing party, the accused, to interrogate all the witnesses, to get to the truth of what happened. No, this is just one more opportunity for the Democrat partisan investigation to smear Trump once again. And for Democrats to pick little bits here and there to continue the smear campaign so they can try to win the presidential election. That's all this is all about. And I've said it over and over again. And people have totally missed it. This really wasn't an investigation to catch him in any Russian collusion. They just needed the headlines, and they got them. You know, Alan Dershowitz, a civil libertarian criminal lawyer, said exactly the same thing. I mean, any lawyer, criminal lawyer, knows that the prosecutor doesn't get a chance to smear the accused. And yet, all these people say, let's make it all public, make it public. No, that'll just give them a second chance at bat to batter Trump again. So if you insist that this report has to be made public, then you have to do what Alan Dershowitz said, which is you have to, before you make it public to Trump, and his lawyers will get a chance to interview all the witnesses and get to the truth of what they said and didn't say. And then you can make both reports public. But you cannot give one side, a one-sided report, the opportunity to smear the accused, in this case, Trump. So I wouldn't be screaming about all this victory, because in the first instance, they achieved their end. They got the headlines they needed to get Pelosi into her job. Now Trump has to deal with Pelosi. How did this happen to Trump? Well, he's a political neophyte, and still to some extent. He's learning on the job. You need an attorney general that will watch your back. You don't need a politician in there that cares about his self only. You need to have your brother, like Jack Kennedy did, or you, since he has no brother, you need to have your soul brother, your bro, like Obama. Holdovers were able to grab the intelligence surveillance, counterintelligence surveillance operations for 9 months. They didn't find anything, but they were able to grab the Justice Department ability to prosecute, and they were able to. Now that's some trick. That's really something. And why did that happen? Because Trump didn't get hold of that Justice Department. He didn't name the people. He didn't name Christie like he should have, or anybody else, DeGenoa or anybody that he knew would be watching his back. And that's why all of this happened. So now he has to pay the price. He has to pay the price. He has to deal with Pelosi. So, like everything in life, you always reap the consequences of your mistakes. Sorry he didn't follow my advice, which was to clean house immediately. I said it several times. Get in there and make everything public. He hasn't even declassified the FISA reports, which are evidence of collusion, criminality, conspiracy, conspiracy, not as conspiracy, that's not the right word. It's conspiracy. Anyway, I think I'm tired and I have to do something else, but I just wanted to give my take, and it's really not as great as it seems. If they get a second turn at bat, that would be disgraceful.